Hi everyone and welcome to Sports Around the Globe with Shai Boker. I am your host, Shai Boker. Joining me from Massachusetts are Josh Ocon and Joe Frank. Hey guys, what's up?
Hello.
How's it going?
How y'all doing with the Corona situation?
I doing particularly well, I have to say. I don't know if I ever would have been doing so much research for a wonderful sports show if there wasn't a coronavirus situation. So it's been quite a fun time for a stat head.
I'm staying healthy. I'm not injecting any Lysol into my body, but staying good, man. How are you?
Okay, so on today's show, we're going to talk about uh, the go-to debate. And Joe, you wanted to add Wilt. We'll get into that in a minute. It's, of course, Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, and as we said, Wilt.
Yeah.
And then our next segment will be NBA's best duos. Kobe and Shaq, Jordan and Pippen, or LeBron and Wade. We'll debate that. And then, of course, we'll finish it off with whether or not the NBA should resume, and if so, where. So, who's the GOAT for you?
For me, it's Wilt. I know you originally wanted it to just be Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron. And I'm surprised
Let's hear your valid argument. Let's hear it.
Okay.
He's getting there, buddy.
Yeah, come on. My valid argument, as opposed to my not valid argument. My valid argument is that he leads so many records categories. He averaged 50 points a game for one particular season. Over his career, he averaged 30 points a game. He has the most games with 50 points or more, with 118 games. He has the most rebounds of all time, I believe.
Let me ask you this. Can he survive in Jordan's era? Can he be the GOAT in Jordan's era?
Yes, because he was incredibly strong. He was a freak of nature. He was probably one of the most gifted athletes we've seen in modern American sports. He was such a great athlete that there were NBA teams trying to sign him when he was like 60 years old. Seriously, they were going to offer him contracts. After he retired from the NBA, he played volleyball and then got into the Volleyball Hall of Fame. He was a phenomenal athlete, in incredible shape. He was very strong, and he was a very, very tough competitor. He absolutely would have been able to survive in Jordan's NBA.
All right, what are the accolades, the awards he's won so far? In his career.
So far. Let's see. Well, besides the 100-point game, which only Kobe's gone even within,
19
20
points of it with 81?
Yeah, he had 81, but that's not 100. Let's see. Wilt Chamberlain had the most points in one half with 59. Oh wait, I had there's some crazy stats here. Okay. Holds a single season record for most games with 50 or more points, with 45 games. He had the most points by a rookie in a game. That was 58 points in a game. In addition to that 100-point game. Those are some of the fun record stuff. But if we go over to the actual, just the raw stats of it, he 1 year just led the league in assists because he wanted to. They said you're too much of a ball hog, and so he was like, "No, I'm just gonna lead the league in assists, even though I'm a center and I'm 7 feet tall." He blocked Kareem's skyhook. That in and of itself gets you into the Hall of Fame, I think. I haven't talked with the commissioner yet. He led the league in points the first 6 years of his career. He's one of the most dominant players to ever play the game.
Dominant big men. I wouldn't say players. Honestly, I would not say players. He's a great player. Don't get me wrong. He's not Jordan level player.
Sure he is.
See.
Okay. First of all, Michael Jordan, yes, they both averaged 30.1 points per game for their career. What's the all-time point record for a single game in NBA playoff history? Yeah, I believe Jordan is 69.
What about in NBA history? What's the record?
NBA history? Yeah, playoff history. And NBA
right, but
history,
what about in the rest of the game?
Excuse me. Just playoff history, 69 points by Jordan. That's the all-time record.
Right, but what about 100 points?
He did so many things. In fact, I'll tell you what. According to the Sports Bureau, he never lost 3 games in a row between 1990 and 2001. That is insane in itself.
But that's a team thing. He happened to be on great teams. I think Jordan's status is elevated because of, he was a phenomenal player, but the fact is that he had Pippen, which we'll get to, and he had Rodman, and for a while he had Kerr, and he had all these other great players, and he had...
Yeah, but LeBron never not LeBron. Jordan never trusted his teammates until Phil Jackson told him, you have other players on the court with you. Pass him the ball and good things will happen. And that's exactly what happened.
Yes, that's my point. He had phenomenal teams. A lot of times, Wilt Chamberlain was carrying his teams, and that's part of the reason why his stats are so crazy.
But also Jordan,
because he was that kind of player that could do that.
Jordan willed his teams to 6 NBA championships. The Bulls
Shai,
never sniffed the playoffs almost without him. Never sniffed the finals without him.
Shai, when he went to the Wizards, what was he able to do there?
Oh, Josh, he was old.
The Wizards were never good during that time.
That's what Joe's saying, though. He's saying that the Bulls were a good team, and he was able to will that team to 6 championships.
Right. It's like how Draymond Green is a great player, but as soon as he was put on a bad team, he wasn't like Russell Westbrook that would average a triple-double.
Draymond Green was never good. He was made to look good by his teammates.
I take offense to that as a Michigan State fan.
I know. But that's why I said that, to insult you.
Thanks, man. Thanks. But the thing is, Wilt Chamberlain, he literally caused the NBA to change the rules. They had to widen the key because he would just hang out the basket and kick butt so much.
And there was no 3-second violation at the time. That didn't help anyone.
Look, he was such an incredible player. He would have. They had the thing where if, before Wilt Chamberlain, you could throw the ball off the backboard, catch it, and dunk it on all your free throws, and he was about to have a perfect free throw percentage because nobody could stop him on that. That was another time they had to change.
Oh, Wilt? Wilt shot 51.1 free throw percentage for his career.
Because they changed the rule so he couldn't just dunk it the whole time because he was such a freak of nature. He could do that when no one could do it before.
Yes, I know he was a freak of nature. Okay, anyways, moving on. Josh, who's your GOAT?
Listen, I see what both of you guys are saying. Wilt Chamberlain, I think, purely as an individual statistical person, as an individual athlete, I think is really good. But Jordan, as a team player, if you're looking at all his, awards and everything as part of a team, and his individual awards, I think he's clearly the GOAT. 6 NBA championships to Chamberlain's 2, 6 Finals MVPs to Chamberlain's 1. So I just see Jordan as the GOAT.
Okay, let me ask you this: where do you rank Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, and Wilt on your all-time list? Of course, Josh and I, we have Jordan as number 1. Go ahead, Josh.
I'll take. In all honesty, who do I think the GOATs really is? It's someone who's not even here. It's Phil Jackson.
He's the GOAT of coaches. I'd agree to that.
But
Red Auerbach.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Look, Jackson won 6 championships with Jordan. He then went to LA and won another 5 with Kobe, and then he has another 2 as a player with the Knicks. So the guy's got 13 championships as a player coach, which is insane.
That's Bill Belichick type of dominance. Yeah.
Exactly.
What about
Okay.
Popovich? Where would you put Popovich in that?
For me, it's Jackson number 1, Auerbach 2, Popovich 3.
I'd be fine with that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yo, where do LeBron and Kobe rank on your list? And Jordan?
Look, they're all up there in that top tier, of course. I used to really be a LeBron hater, but he's been doing what he does so consistently for so many years that I honestly I have to put some respect on his name. He's just a phenomenal player. Now, and he's an all-around player. He plays defense. He can, have assists. He can shoot both threes. He can play in the post. He can, he can do everything and do it well. I think LeBron is up there. Kobe, you can say all those things about Kobe. I honestly think it's really tough to rank up there. I think Wilt is up there just because of how dominant he was. He averaged 50 points a game for a season, and then the next season averaged 44. He was just a complete.
Yeah, but let me say this: that era had different rules. And nowadays, for the past 40 years, I'd say from the 80s to now, he would not be the player that he is. That's my opinion.
I don't
see him dominating Shaq. I really don't. I don't see him dominating Kareem either.
He played against Kareem.
I don't see him dominating at all during these days.
He played against Kareem. They shared eras. He was able to go up against Kareem. He blocked Kareem's skyhook. That was a phenomenal big man battle. Also, he was stronger than Shaq. He could probably push Shaq out of the way.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We never got to witness it, so let's end that at that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just saying.
My top 4 in the GOAT debate: Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, and then Wilt.
Okay.
And trust me, I'm not too happy about having LeBron in my top 3.
I was surprised that you put him there, Shai, because you've been quite outspoken, at least to me and Josh, about how much you are not a LeBron fan.
Yes, I'm not a LeBron fan.
Yeah, I thought he was.
But I will say this: he's a very good player. He's a very good player. Will he ever be a Kobe or Jordan type level? No, not a chance. Never, ever, ever.
Why?
Hey, we'll see on next week's episode of Game of Zones if he will be.
Oh, yeah, maybe, quite possibly. By the way, let me ask you this. Have you guys enjoyed watching The Last Dance so far?
I haven't watched it.
Dude, I'm psyched for the finale tomorrow.
It will. I assume it will be good. It seems to be getting good ratings.
It is incredible. Really
I haven't been seeing it, but I don't get ESPN. I don't have ESPN on my TV, so.
We got to find some way to hook Joe up.
Okay, we will take a short break and be right back with our Best to Duo segment coming up next. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Sports Around the Globe with Shai Boker. I am your host, Shai Boker. Of course, joining me are Josh Okan and Joe Frank. For segment number 2, NBA's Best Duos. Let's rank them. Jordan and Pippen, Kobe and Shaq, and LeBron and Wade. Who's your number 1?
Josh, you take this one.
When you're looking at best duos, you want to see that their stats really match up close to each other because that shows that they really feed off of each other. Okay. And, I think that when you look at these stats, most of them that match up well with each other are Jordan and Pippen. They both had relatively the same amount of assists per game, blocks per game exactly the same, field goal percentage almost the same, three-point percentage almost the same. The only things that are majorly different are points per game and free throw percentage. The other guys, like Kobe and Shaq, definitely two different types of players on the floor. And, I mean, each of them excelled in different stats. So you could say that they fed off of each other, but I don't think they fed off of each other like Jordan and Pippen did.
They fed off each other's anger,
I don't think
too.
Jordan.
Shaq and
That's
Kobe
true.
had a feud for like 20 years, didn't they? Like,
They
Yeah,
did not get
I
along
think
by
they-
the end of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I heard that when Kobe passed away in January, Shaq said that he had not spoken to Kobe in quite some time.
I
And
thought they had made up, though. I had
they
heard
made
that
up the
they had
previous All-Star game, if I'm not
they
mistaken.
did. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I heard Shaq felt terrible that he hadn't texted Kobe in a while, and he was like telling everyone, if you haven't texted someone in a while, do that.
Yeah.
Stay in touch.
I mean, they're both all-time
Getting
greats.
back here, absolutely. LeBron and Wade also great duos. I mean, when I think of the two of them, I always think of that picture with Wade throwing up the dunk for LeBron. I mean, everyone tries to recreate that in the NBA today. But but honestly, like Jordan and Pippen, like I said, I don't think Jordan goes on to win 6 championships without Pippen. However,
Right.
LeBron's gone on to win championships without Wade, and Kobe's gone on to win championships without Shaq. So I
Ooh,
think
that's a great point.
But let's remember something about LeBron. He needs other All-Stars. If I'm not mistaken, Jordan needed only 2 All-Stars his entire career to win 6 titles. LeBron had former, future, or current All-Stars at all times on his team, except when he led the Cavs the 2006-2007 season to the finals. All he had was Mo Williams and Gaskis, really.
Wait, so 96 to 98, I know 2 All-Stars were Pippen and Rodman, but
Yeah.
who was 92 to 93? You're saying Horace Grant?
No,
And
usually he had 1 or 2.
okay.
He had Pippen for the most part. Pippen
Yeah, he had Pippen for all of them.
helped him out throughout their time together. And I mean, yeah, sure. Without Pippen, I'm not sure Jordan could have won, but my feeling is he could have won with Rodman. But then again,
I think you're also forgetting
we'll never be sure.
how. I think you're
Rodman
forgetting,
was a hustle machine.
I think you're forgetting how much Pippen was helpful on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah,
he
of
is one
course.
he is one of the best defenders. In
They both are 2 of the best defenders ever.
Right. So I think that
And
that
nevertheless,
is left
Kobe
out on our
is also one
chart.
of the best. Wade is also one of the best. All these 6
Pippen
duos
level?
are dominant on
Bit of a
both
stretch
ends of the
there.
floor.
Dude, if you watch the documentary, I mean, the way they describe Rodman as a defender, like, it sounds like he's the best defender of all time.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
go that far. I think Shaq was slightly better, but I don't know.
But Shai, what about Draymond Green?
Draymond Green gets too much
D-boy.
attention from the media. Way too much attention. He's not even that good. Trust me. I mean, he's the backbone of that Warriors, sure. But he's not as good as the media makes him look. I mean, this year he averaged
I don't
a
know.
triple single, didn't he?
Triple single. Funny. I mean, who
Curry
doesn't
and
have a
Thompson
triple
and Durant,
once in a while?
he had great games because he actually had players who could make shots. Draymond Green can't make a shot.
I was
to
just
save his
bringing
life.
up Draymond to
It's not to save his life,
you know,
not
give
much
a little
more.
He's
grief.
trying to start something there, starting a fire.
Oh, we already started it a long time ago.
Anyways, I mean, I'm not, I was looking at this and I honestly was not even sure who I would take because a lot of these, it's like you can't go wrong with any of these duos, honestly. I honestly think that I might go Jordan Pippen just because they have such strong points per game totals, and then Pippen will give you such good defense. I think they complemented each other so well, which is why they were so great. Not saying the other duos didn't.
Yeah, exactly. What I said too. They complement each other really well. That's why they won 6 championships. That's why they overcame great teams led by Ewing, Barkley, even Reggie Miller and the
Stockton.
Pacers. And even
Stockton.
the Pistons, Isaiah Thomas, Jazz, Stockton and Malone, and even the Lakers of Magic Johnson.
And Seattle Supersonics.
Yeah,
Gary
Seattle,
Payton.
Gary Payton and Sean Kemp, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Love.
Jordan faced much better competition than Kobe and Shaq and LeBron and Wade ever did. That's my personal opinion. He had a much tougher road to the finals than LeBron's cakewalks in the East.
LeBron definitely had cakewalks in the East, especially more recently. I think that you think about some of the teams that Kobe faced, and you're talking about like the Suns with Steve Nash. You're talking about Popovich and Duncan in the Spurs.
Kawhi.
Well, Kawhi is later, but yeah. There's a lot of really good teams that Kobe had to go up against.
Wait, hang on. Something about Kawhi Leonard. Let me just say this. Since Kawhi made the league, Kobe never faced him in the playoffs because guess what? His teams didn't make it. Did not make it. And this year
Kobe's teams? Well, that is true.
7 years of making the playoffs, and guess what? Coronavirus stopped it.
You know, Shai, you were saying that LeBron always needed all-stars to win in the finals, but he was able to make it to the finals with just. Let me finish.
Okay.
LeBron was able to make it to the finals with anybody on his roster. Do you remember? We've seen how bad the Cavs were the year after he left.
Yes, of course.
If he wasn't playing those games, they would never have even gone close to maybe even the playoffs, if we're being honest. Kobe, even when he was older and at the end of his career, wasn't dragging the Lakers to the playoffs, even with, Rajon Rondo and whoever the heck else was on his team. Rondo
only made it 2 years ago to the Lakers, so I don't think you have that statistic.
Then I'm wrong. My point is, you can't even remember who else.
Yeah, Jeremy Lin, not Rondo.
Oh, big difference. I'm sorry.
Yes, that is a big difference. I mean, both of them are one-time NBA champs, but, Rondo's always been way better than Jeremy Lin, who had a few good weeks, and for that he's been called Linsanity.
I agree with that. I think it's a little harsh on Lin, but Rondo, especially when he was younger, was incredible, especially with those Celtics teams.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. For me, the best duos, obviously Jordan and Pippen is number 1. Kobe and Shaq is 2. And LeBron and D-Wade. LeBron and D-Wade, they failed. They could have won.
They failed.
4 championships, and they should have won more championships. But, LeBron likes to have cramps, and that was a problem against the Spurs. You remember them?
To 4 NBA finals.
Elimination, the 4-1 in the 2013-14 season. Kawhi Leonard dominated LeBron. Oh, wait a minute. 2010-11, his first season with the Heat. Who dominated LeBron? Jason Terry. And J.J. Barea off the Mavs bench. They dominated him. Oh, and here's another.
I like how you're not mentioning Dirk Nowitzki.
Only played 3 quarters when you're supposed to play 4.
Look, they still won 2 championships in 4 years.
Yeah, but that Dallas team was crap. They had
that's
one
insane.
All-star. That Dallas team.
Shai, they beat an OKC team. They beat an OKC team with 3 MVPs on it.
Yeah.
Remember that.
I think the refs helped them, but they'd be an OKC team with Harden and Kendrick Perkins and Durant and Russell Westbrook.
Did you put Perkins, Harden, and Durant and Westbrook in the same lineup? Oh, yeah, sure. It might have all been – no, actually, Harden was a player off the bench in that series. But I understand
your point. Great. They had Serge Ibaka. They had a lot of really good players, and they didn't win.
Yeah.
I know.
But to their defense, They had no finals experience, and they were all too young. And now look at this. The only two players out of those four who've ever won the championship between Durant, Westbrook, Harden, and Ibaka is Durant. Well, of course, he made the snake move going over to a 73-9 Golden State Warriors team. And, of course, Ibaka, who was traded to Toronto.
The Raptors.
He helped them win.
Right. No, I mean, it's one of the things that I think OKC fans will always sit there and say, you know, we had these
That's the biggest what if in NBA history.
Years,
those four.
And they never won.
Never won at all. What if they stayed together? That is the biggest what if in NBA history, in my opinion.
I don't know if they ever would have made it there. They might have, but it's tough to say. I think the Durant-Westbrook tension would eventually have become too much of a problem.
Yeah.
They would have never won.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the reason why I think Durant left. But I think it's also interesting that when we were talking about the greatest duos, that we didn't mention Kareem and Magic. We didn't even put together Shaq and Wade, and we didn't put Curry and Durant, or even Curry and Thompson together. I think that there was a lot of phenomenal duos.
Curry and
that
Thompson,
we also
all they can do
about.
is shoot. Thompson's a great defender, but Curry cannot compliment him on the defense.
Oh, all they can do is rack up points. How
In a
terrible!
heartbeat.
Like,
They're the best shooting duo of all time. Don't get me wrong here. But as far as overall,
yeah.
The three duos that we mentioned here, Jordan and Pippen, Kobe and Shaq, and LeBron and Wade, those are the best three of all time. Shout out to Magic and Kareem for being number 4. That's my opinion.
I think you're putting some disrespect. I think that's disrespecting what the Showtime Lakers did. As much as I am partial to Magic because he went to Michigan State. But I think that, you know, Kareem and Magic were phenomenal. You could even, you know, I mean, then you start talking about them, you start talking about Bird, Celtics, and all that. I think that if we're talking about duos, though, you have Kareem, who's all-time points leader, Magic Johnson, who one of the best players. Probably I'd put him top 10, obviously.
I agree. He's definitely
I
top
think
10.
that you have 2 top 10 players of all time in that duo, and I think there's a lot of disrespect to say that, you know, they're just like a notch below.
Yes. Okay. Let's take another break and be back with whether or not the NBA should resume. Coming right up.
Okay.
Welcome back to the final segment of Sports Around the Globe, where we're going to talk about whether the NBA should resume or not. So, if they should resume, where? You guys can start debating this.
Josh, I want to know what you have to say.
Well, I was just looking at my news feed during the break, and I got an article that said that the NBA would lose $900 million in revenue from TV viewings if there are no playoffs this season. So,
Wow.
Knowing the NBA, I don't think they're going to let that happen.
Right.
They want that money just like anyone else in this world wants money. How they're going to do it, honestly, I don't know. I've been listening to other sports, the NHL, which their season basically parallels the NBA. They're planning to do like a 24-team playoff. That way, giving an opportunity to teams that were sort of like on the border of making the playoffs before the season was cut short, but they weren't exactly in the top 8. So I guess the best teams in each conference would get a bye, and the worst teams would have to play a best-of-3 series in a first round, and then it would start as normal with 16 teams. if the NBA does that, I think that'd be pretty fair to everyone, giving all the teams that could have made the playoffs a chance. But how they're going to do that, I think their best bet is they're going to have everyone in one neutral site, make everyone train together, play together, live together, eat together, hoop together. I mean, whatever it is, man, they got to do it all together, because as soon as that virus gets one of them, like, you got to call it quits again, and it's going to be frustrating.
That's the thing that I think is going to be really difficult, is keeping everyone safe. Like, we'd love to see the NBA come back, and I think we'd all love to see, which LA team is the best. Is Milwaukee better than both of them? Can the Celtics make a run? I think we'd all love to see these storylines play out. But the thing that I'm worried about is, how are they going to test all of these players? You not just test them once, because you can test them on one day and then they can get sick the next. So it's not just the players, it's also all the staff, reporters, front office people, maintenance people, stadium.
There's so many things you need to do in order to make this happen. And also, just so you know, Luka Doncic is in Slovenia right now. So that could be
we're all concerned about Doncic
on this NBA comeback. And also, Sekou Doumbouya of the Pistons is back in France. So there's a lot of things that need to happen in order for it to come back. I sincerely hope it comes back, but we don't know.
If it does not come back, the Los Angeles Lakers will be crowned the 2020 NBA champions.
And we'd all hate to see that.
Because they have the best record.
No, they have the best record since February.
Yeah. Oh, right. That's how they do it.
Yeah.
That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. If the season gets canceled and you got to crown a champion, give it to Milwaukee.
That's what I thought, yeah.
I personally agree with that. It's already a shortened season. It's not like you played the full regular season and then canceled it. Like, you already have a relatively smaller number of games to work with. Just take that as what it is, and then the best team of that time, record-wise, was Milwaukee. Give it to them.
I agree.
But would a team and would a city, like the fans, would they want to take that championship?
I was thinking about that, because with the NHL, it would go to the Bruins, and I was like, I can't, I'm not going to turn down a Stanley Cup, or, you're not going to turn down a championship. But at the same time, you don't get the memories of it. There's no, celebration with the confetti. There's no buzzer beater. There's no, you're not watching anything. It's like
not fun.
With it.
Yeah.
If they scrap the season, they should scrap it all.
Mm-hmm.
I agree, because then it's always a tainted championship too, because they said, well, you never even played in the playoffs. It's like, how many great teams have we seen that win the regular season and don't do anything in the playoffs? Tampa Bay Lightning. Like, seriously, if this was a year ago, the Tampa Bay Lightning would have a Stanley Cup championship, and
we all saw what happened to them.
Yeah.
They got swept.
Yeah, they got swept.
I'm going to say this. If the NBA does resume, LeBron will choke in the playoffs. And so will Giannis Antetokounmpo. My guess is that Boston could steal the whole thing. If the NBA
I would love to see Boston win, but calling both LeBron and Giannis to choke is a massively hot take.
Yes, it might be a massively hot take, but these weeks off or months off could have major impact.
He's still working out every day, man. I see the videos. He's still training every single day.
Jason Tatum, I don't even think has a basketball hoop at his house.
I heard about that, yeah.
He bought one.
Good for him.
Yeah.
But the thing is, everybody is going to be going through, it's going to be coming off of this break. So you're going to see worse play, but everybody is going to be, feeling the effects of having taken a completely random.
But is it worth it to risk injury?
I honestly think between injury and sickness, it's not worth it to come back. I know the NBA is going to want to not lose that money somehow.
Mm-hmm.
I think that
most superstars want the league to come back.
Right, but I understand that, but I think what happened, like Josh, you were saying, one person gets sick and they're going to shut it all down again.
Exactly.
I think it's going to be a mess if they try to bring it back, and I don't know how you keep that, that hundreds and hundreds of people safe, and then also, where do you do it? Then you have to keep all these people for like 2 months in this one gym and hotel area, because you're not going to have them traveling, like.
I mean, I don't know if you guys have been following the MLB's pursuit to restart or to start the league this season.
Right.
But the MLB just sent out something to the MLBPA, basically saying there's going to be no spitting allowed. There's going to be no high-fiving. And of course, no fans. And
just scrap the season. If you can't do that, scrap the season.
Exactly. So, and then the MLBPA looked at it and they said, we still don't feel safe. All it takes is one person to get this, and we're all screwed.
Right, and they would be separated from their families.
Exactly.
It's not worth it. They should just start the season next year and leave all contracts as is for one more season.
The truth is, it comes down to when can people be safe and when can people's families be safe. And when it's safe to come back, they should. But rushing it can just cause problems, and it can cause even more of a black eye on the leagues.
Right.
I wouldn't even call what's going on.
What the MLB could do is play all their games at the spring training facilities in Florida.
Why would you want to be in Florida?
I'd say one in Florida, one in Arizona.
But why would you? But you still face the same problems.
Split them into three. My bad.
You still face the same problems in terms of just the logistics of having a bunch of people together playing baseball games in dugouts together, etc. But it has led to some very interesting thought experiments. For instance, did you hear about they were going to get rid of the American League and National League and make big East, Central, and West divisions?
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Right, but I thought that would be very cool to see the Mets and the Yankees and the Red Sox all play each other.
Yep. I like that.
It's going to be fun.
And I got a friend in Pittsburgh. She's a big Pirates fan, and we've never been in the same division before or even the same league.
They flipped the Pirates and the Braves. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be very interesting.
Yeah. And they would expand the number of playoff teams to 14.
Right.
So
let me ask you this. Who's the Pirates Captain Hook?
Pirates Captain Hook? It's not Marte. They have Ben Cherington as their general manager now.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
I guess
they just hired Ben Cherington.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll actually make some. People like to hate on Ben Cherington, but he made our farm system very, very good, and that's what Dombrowski worked with when he was here. So Ben Cherington
Dombrowski eliminated the entire farm system.
Yeah, he worked with it.
He worked it out.
And so
melted it into oblivion.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that for for all the Pirates fans out there that they're able to, our friend Josh Usiskin that we all met when we were on Onward Israel, he's a Pirates fan. I'm hoping for all of those Pirates fans that they actually get a good team because they haven't had one in a long while.
Wait. Back to that Captain Hook question, you could say it's their front office.
The front office has had problems, yes. Just go watch Urinating Trees videos on the Pirates. And, you ever watch Urinating Tree?
No, what?
Oh, you guys got to watch Urinating Tree. He's he's a YouTuber, and he does basketball, hockey, and no, maybe he doesn't do basketball. He does NFL, hockey, and baseball videos where he'll break down the playoffs or the expectations of the playoffs. He'll make videos about terrible franchises and why they suck, and he's a very funny guy, and he's a Pittsburgh fan. So
okay.
He's from Pittsburgh, so yeah, so he's very that's a very fun channel to watch.
So, as a final statement for this,
yes,
should the NBA and MLB and hockey come back? I'm just asking because,
They
we
should.
talked about all three major sports.
They should when it's safe.
What
I
if it
think
isn't
it should all
safe?
come
Then
back in
scrap it.
2021.
They can
Go
only
ahead,
do it if
Josh.
it's safe.
2021 is when they should come back. They should come back when there's a vaccine, I should say, when there's a proven vaccine.
Yeah.
That could take a while, but I think I think if there's good contact tracing efforts, maybe.
That's it.
Because then you can have a better idea of who's been in contact with who. But I honestly think it's when it's safe, when we can know it's safe. Because that's the most important thing.
News on my end, here in Israel, soccer is coming back at the end of this month,
Wow.
and basketball will come back on June 20th. And next week, EuroLeague will have another board meeting, and we'll decide whether the EuroLeague will be back on July 4th or not. And
Are they going to have fans?
Right now, it's pretty even. So my gut feeling is EuroLeague will come back, but on the other hand, I would not be surprised if it doesn't come back.
I think it's going to come down to safety. Like even if it comes back and there ends up being cases, then it'll get shut down again.
Mm-hmm.
I think EuroLeague would be very difficult because you're dealing with an entire continent worth of teams.
Yeah, but you're going to have everyone in one location, either in Belgrade or Lithuania. Although, in my opinion, they should have done it here in Israel. Because Israel is basically nearly corona-free compared to Europe.
You don't want that second wave, though.
Yeah, you don't want a second wave.
Things happen with this virus.
I think it's the same thing applies for the EuroLeague and Israeli leagues as it does over here. It has to be done when safe. I understand things are a bit better in Israel, but you don't want second waves. You don't want to risk it, especially when there's no vaccine.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I was reading that 70% of the world's population needs to be infected with coronavirus until we can seriously handle it to get that herd immunity. So,
right, and that comes from a vaccine.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I just don't think that we're at a point where we can, where basically if we're going to start bringing things back in general, we have to be extremely cautious about it, and so that's why I'm hesitant to bring back sports. Another thing with sports is that if people see people playing sports and they're not socially distancing because it's sports, then it might lead people to think that things are better than they actually are, and then therefore take more risks, thinking that the situation isn't as bad as it is.
And leading to that second wave.
Right.
Yeah.
It could be a lot worse.
By the way, the German Bundesliga returned today.
Really?
Yeah, for the first time since March.
See how it goes, I guess.
Yeah. Thank you very much for joining the show. We shall do another one together in the near future.
Yep.
Stay safe.
Thank you.
For Josh Okan and Joe Frank, I am Shai Boker saying good night, and we'll see you again.